Good afternoon. I am glad to see you again on our lesson. Our new module is document flow, and our today's theme is document flow settings. Let's see the document flow settings that the system has. For this we need to go setup and administration, program settings, document flow, and we see that the settings for documents or settings for document flow use have two parts: for paper document flow and for electronic document flow. Let's start with the paper. We see 6 ticks. So the first is transfer journal. If we tick it, we can open the transfer journal. The transfer journal allows us to see what the specifier of document was transferred from archive, the instance type of the document, original copy, the number of instance, what the person was passed the document, what the user was passed the document, the transfer date and date of return, or if the document will be returned. Close the transfer journal. Now, document flow, case files. Accounting for storage location is mandatory for case files and storage locations. If we take case files and there are other two ticks, we can go to the we need to go to reference information, case files, catalog, and the system allows us to create sections and add the paper instance of documents to the sections and volumes. We have a separately module, the case file, and we consider the case file in depth. Let's go back to the program settings, document flow, storage locations. If we tick it, we see the new string case file storage locations. And firstly, we need to create the premises and sites, and then we can create a new case file storage locations. Let's go back to the program settings, document contents. If we open the document, for example client's order 1, open the attributes, we see in 3 new strings. It's content, form, and case file. In string content we can write the number of sheets, the number of annexes, sheets in annexes, and number of copies. go back. Settings for documents. And the count for scanned copies of original. If we tick it, let's go to the client's order 1 overview. We can accept that this file, this scan copy, is original, but we see that the system knows that this file created from template, and system doesn't allow to mark this file as original. We can add the file from our disk and tick it. Let's go to the program settings again, and if we click on question mark, we see the instructions that files of this format will be marked as scanned copies of original when added to the documents. You can resort the list of the defaults via the context menu. And the settings for paper documents is over, and let's go to the settings for electronic document flow use. Incoming, outgoing, internal document types. If we untick them, we can't create a new document types now. We see that the string document types disappears. Let's go back. Program settings, document flow, and if we tick 2 or 1 of them, save settings, reference information, document types, we see that we can't create new document types for incoming document. Let's go back, document flow, incoming document types. Files of incoming documents, files of outgoing documents. If we tick these two strings, the system allows us to create and add the files to incoming and outgoing documents. Document states allow manual modification of state, limit availability of fields depending on state. Let's open our client's order 1. We see that our client's order has a state. Its state is registered, and we also can see the state in the attributes in the string state. The state is set by the process, or if we tick allow manual modification of state, the user can set the state by him or herself. And our document has a lot of states. Approval, awaiting approval, approved, not approved. If we choose approved, save, we see that the state has changed. Confirmation also has 3 states: awaiting confirmation, confirmed, not confirmed. Registration, draft, awaiting registration, registered, not registered. When we create a new document. The state is draft, but the state registered is the main sign that the document is a record. Review all. So it has two states: awaiting reviewal or reviewed, and performance also has two states: awaiting performance and performed. Save. Limit availability of fields depending on state. I think you don't need my explanations. Limit availability. This string limits availability of fields depending on state. Let's open one enterprise like Petersmith by Petersmith. But firstly we need to set our permissions for client sorter for Petersmith. Save and close. Go to the system like Petersmith, documents and files, documents internal, client sorter 1. We see that the strings of states are not available for changing. We can only close this panel, and we see that when the state is approved or registered, the simple user can't add for the view of contents. But if the administrator in the system like God, he has a full access to all sections and part of system. If administrator change state from registered to draft, and approval is awaiting approval, or delete the string, save and go back to Petersmith. Let's refresh. I can't refresh now. Refresh. Go to the attributes. We can't add. Why? The state is not changed. Let's refresh. The state is changed. Attributes can't use this. Is we need to close, save and close. Because the administrator locks this files. Read, and now we can write something to brief overview of contents. So let's see what will be happened with the strings if administrator changes the state from draft draft to approved. Approved, yes. Save, close, save and close. Go back to the Petersmith, refresh. We see that the state has changed. we see that Peter Smith can set the state, and we also see that the states like the name, the document type, the name of companies, the folders are not available, because when the approval persons are approving our documents, we can't configure our internal document attributes, but the system allows us to edit this file. Or no, we can't edit this file, but if we go on administrator to set up administration, we need to select state-based availability settings, choose internal documents, general user settings, and if we open it, see that column approved hasn't got a green mark on edit files, and if we mark it, save and close, change general user settings, go back to the Peter Smith, refresh, and open our client sorter 1, we can open the file for editing. In the section state-based availability settings, we also can set the settings for other states. Project awaiting approval, approved for all states that the system has. Go back into program settings, document flow, categories for documents and files. It creates a new tab, a new bookmark in the document form. Let's open it. The new bookmark categories, and we can fill the categories that we created before. Go back. Automatic categorization and verification of categories of documents and files. I think you don't need my explanation, because these strings speak for themselves. Document barcoding. We talk more about document barcoding in the module that has the same name, barcoding. Forwarding of incoming documents. It let us to know who forwards the document and who passes the document. Let's go to the right. Part of settings for electronic document flow. Separate accounting for paper and electronic documents. We know that all documents have two forms, paper and electronic, and if we tick the string, Separate accounting for paper and electronic documents. The electronic documents will have their own case files, and the paper documents will have their own case files. One case file for the electronic and one case files for the paper. Documents relations and resolutions in documents. If we tick them, the system creates new two bookmarks, resolutions and relations. Counterparty mailing lists. It let us send the documents to several counterparties. Endorsements of approval. The system creates a new bookmark, endorsements. Document flow. Account for companies. It let us select the company. In attributes, we can select if we have more than one company, and the string is mandatory to fill. Program settings. Activity types. From our last lessons, we know that categories is more useful than activity types, because you can add some categories to one file, and categories is not mandatory to fill, and I don't recommend to tick activity types. Account for appeals of citizens. We consider it later in this lesson. Main currency, ruble or euro or American dollar. Security levels, and default security level. In our company, it names main. So these settings has our system for document flow.